What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Martin Skirsis, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got a Peter Fury roast for you, man, right now. Taking on Anthony Lost-Dua. Where is this guy, man? Where is this guy? We kept hearing, even when AJ fell off bad, yeah, it was always on the build-up, wasn't it? There was always, we're rebuilding. This is the first time, really, it's gone completely missing, in my opinion. When he lost to Ruiz, it was kind of like the rematch everyone knew was happening almost immediately, and he's rebuilding for it. Or he beat, even when he lost to Usyk, it was always like he's still active. So I guess it is kind of sad to some extent. I think it's obvious he's 35 now, so he's in the last part of his career. But why not? Ride it into the ground, man. Burn it into the ground. Don't go out like Sonny Edwards did. Do you know what I mean? Don't go out like him. Just go in there for 6. Do 12 round fights, yeah, but go in there for 6 rounds and just be hard. That's my advice. Just go in there, yeah, and just start slinging leather. That's what AJ needs to do now, properly though. Not galloping in like this against Dubois. He was galloping in like this, man, with his hands by his chest. I don't know how it's possible. I really don't, people. I don't know how, yeah, you can be in the game 20 years. I don't care. Oh, AB, he's only been doing it 17 years. Like, how many more years do you need, man? These are basic principles. Chin down, hands up a little bit if you're coming in. AJ's walking like this, galloping. Oh, AB, you've never done it. I'm just saying, man. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'd been doing it 17 years and did that, I'd have to agree. Like, what am I doing here? And he's clearly got phenomenal genetics. Cause I don't know what else. He's gone backwards, man. He's gone backwards. When he was with Tony Sims, he was on the start of completion. There was a solid base there with Tony Sims. Yes, he had to tighten things up like all fighters do, but it was a solid base. Now, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing party tricks and Mr. Miyagi magic with Ben Diamato Davidson. That's what he's doing. Anyway, let's get to the bars from Peter Fury.
In your opinion, Anthony Joshua, because obviously he was going to take the rematch. That looked like that was going to happen. What does he do now, in your opinion? Does he wait and see what happens with the Usyk and Fury fight? What does he do?
That's what everybody wants to do himself. I would have. I think he should have had the rematch. To be fair, that would have been my opinion. If he'd have been my fighter, I'd have put him back in there, because actually he did all the right things. He was calm. He was taking the shots, he was walking him back to the corner and all that. So he almost had it right, but he done fundamental silly mistakes in there. So mistakes that could probably, correct them. So it's just, listen, it is what it is. They know their own mind or whatever, and they know what it is. But it's not a good look in not having a rematch, in my opinion. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
we've got to look at the older fight. Look, Lennox Lewis, he got cleaned out in a round. He rematched the guy, didn't he?
Oliver McCall.
That's right. Was it Oliver McCall or was it? It was the other one.
Hassan Rahman.
Yeah, and he got cleaned out in a round. He done far worse than Joshua did, and he rematched him. So why can't Joshua rematch him? So again, it looks like to the world that he's been protected and he doesn't want it, which I'm sure isn't the case. But that's what people will say, won't they? Because that rematch should be there and it should happen. If he's good enough, he should beat him, shouldn't
he? Yeah, I mean.
And this really, I've been saying for a while, but we'll replay the bars here. This is an indictment on today's, I don't know what you'd call them, man. The world in general is just lost. It's just gone debaucherous, right? You see people like McTapper. I mean, and again, that's maybe not true. 100 years ago, people were doing the same kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe we see it more now because of social media or whatever. But one thing, if we keep it strictly boxing, there's no doubt there's been a deterioration. Yeah, someone said, we did a video yesterday about Sonny Edwards quitting. And then someone said, yeah, but so did Nigel Benn also quit against Collins. I haven't watched that fight. To be fair to them, man, they was finished. They was finished by that point. Yeah, and it gets to a point where you can't fight that hard anymore. We all get that. But AJ never had that part. He never had the part where he's fighting hard. Okay, one fight against Vlad, 50-year-old Vlad. Right, it's not even like you can say, well, he fought hard for a long time. You can't always go to that well once you've been there and you're getting into your kind of late 30s or mid 30s. You can't do that, man, and all those training rounds and whatnot. So That's why I said in my last video, AJ needs to come back here and just start doing 6-round fights. Yeah, they're 12 rounds, but go in there and just have a go, man. I've been saying it for years, but he can't. I don't know what's wrong with him. Go in there and have a go. You're heavy-handed. Get your chin down, suck your chin in, suck your hands up. Beterbiev's no frills. Yes, what he does is to a very high standard, but what Beterbiev does, for someone who's training twice a day, yeah, there's nothing Beterbiev does where you look at and think, I can't replicate that. That makes sense. All you got to do is be hard, suck your chin down, suck your hands in like this, and have a go. When you're the kind of phenomenal athlete that AJ is, that it's as simple as that. It's a choice. What makes Beterbiev different to AJ? Yes, there's some technical elements there, but nothing. I'll never believe that AJ couldn't technically do what Beterbiev does. It's not like trying to become Floyd Mayweather, for example. There's things he does which are just you have to get it at this point, or you don't. But keeping it, people like Golovkin and Beterbiev, yes, there's some subtleties. They all move their head a little bit here and there, but these are things that are there to be had, man. These are the basics. They do the basics very well, but they're hard. They're hard, and they don't mind fighting and getting whacked. That's the critical difference there. It's in your mind. Yes, AJ's heavyweight, so it's a bit like you're taking heavier shots, but come on, man. Come on, man. You should be taking this rematch. That's what I think you should be. If you were serious. And I didn't believe it. I don't believe it now, but I didn't believe it before the Dubois fight. People telling me, oh, free time. I didn't believe it. I told you that. I think it's fake news. I don't think he really knows what it means or what they're talking about when everyone's shilling the free time champion thing. And I said it at the time, I think it's Fugazi, and it was Fugazi. He doesn't have that in him. The actual to be in the leagues of Lennox Lewis and Muhammad Ali. He doesn't have that in him. If he did, it'd be straight back in there. He'd be focusing on, oh, I did catch Dubois and I made him stumble, allegedly, right? Eddie Hearn said it was 50-50. So if that's the case, if you had a 50-50 fight with Dubois, what are you waiting for? You're going to bum lick Tyson Fury for another 5 years of your career, the last 5 years. Go in there, have a go with Dubois. Win or lose, Fury's going to always be there. Fury's already said that. He's already said, if AJ loses 20 more times, I'll still fight him. So that's not going nowhere. What are you trying to protect now? You've been knocked spark out already now. Getting knocked spark out again. At least you rolled the dice, man. And we can hear all the bars from Ben Davison about how he's going to fix it this time. And who knows? I'd bet money now, depending on the odds, actually. The odds will probably be heavy in Dubois' favour, so I'm not sure I'll touch it. I'd probably have a sniff at the knockout. If the knockout for Dubois was 2-1, I'd take a punt on that for Dubois. But outside of that, I probably wouldn't touch it because I don't like betting on big favourites. And it's heavyweight boxing. You just never know. And my luck, I've seen it too many times. Things that don't make no sense suddenly end up happening. Eubank had a solid chin. Liam Smith can't really punch like that. He's not a massive guy. He gets in there and sparks Chris Eubank. It's like, what the fuck? How is that ever possible? I had about £600 on the line, I think, at the time as well. It's like, what's going on here? It's just a scam. It's a big scam. I think I took about 6 months off gambling after that big Kabbalah robbery, man. That don't make no sense. I don't believe that wasn't some sort of intervention by the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah saw my book. They saw I had $600 on Eubank and they bumped me for it. There's no way that's going to happen. Beefy Smith, he wasn't in there with Canelo. Even Canelo don't really clip guys like that. He was knocked out early in the fight as well. Unbelievable, really. So I wouldn't bet on Dubois in the rematch unless it was unless Dubois was a slight underdog or an underdog. Anyway, I've digressed. Peter Fury made the points that need to be made here. This is the fight game. Yeah, you can say, well, people don't want to take damage, they don't have to take. Was it massive damage he took? AJ hasn't had a really hearty career like that though, man. He hasn't had a proper hearty career, in my opinion. Or he's taken a bunch of damage. You can't say that, I'm sorry. He took a few shots off Vlad. He's had an average career. I'd say probably historically speaking. Go back and watch some of them fights from the 80s and 90s. It was just different. It really was. The whole game was different. It's become estrogenized, this new age game. No one wants to fight on the inside. It's all jab and faff around and have a look. There's no one getting stuck in. Then, man, it was just standard then. It was actually quite rare and even the people who were boxers, like Tommy Hearns or whatever. The lanky boxers had bad intentions in their hands. Even Larry Holmes, he was a boxer, but it was something different about his work. It wasn't all pity-patty. He was trying to hurt you still. Anyway, listen. I mean, we'll all watch AJ and Fury. That's where they're heading to now. Eddie Hearn's hoping, well, it doesn't really matter. If Fury loses, then it's the battle of the bums of Britain. That's what they'll do. They'll come back to Wembley and they'll put a bunch of bums in the seats. And they'll sell that. If Fury wins, even better. AJ gets to fight for a belt. Or for 3 belts. But we all know what's up, man. And really, I'm going to be honest here. The powers that be will no doubt. If Fury wins, Fury's not fighting Usyk again. Especially if it's close. And even if Fury knocked Usyk out, he'd say, what's the point in doing it? He did it after Wilder too, which was contracted. He said, what's the point? I've already knocked him out. I don't need to go back there. Fury's not an out-and-out risk taker like that. Fact. That's why he fights people like Ngannou, who is supposed to be easy. Or Chisora free. He's not an out-and-out gambler who really believes like that. He's strategic with it. Is it smart? Is it not? It depends how you look at it. He's not like the old school man, though, who wanted all newcomers. For Fury to be old school, he'd have to at this point. Lennox was finished. He wasn't even really training. And he got in there with Vitali. What's his name? Who's the other guy? Fury would have to go back in there. The same kind of parallels would be Fury getting in there with Dubois now. Beats Usyk and gets in there with Dubois. That will never happen. Even though some people might think it's an easy fight. Oh, Dubois stiff. He's going to plod forward like this and I'm just going to whip. Fury, man. Wilder caught your ass. Wilder ain't got no volume. And he knocked you out twice. And you went life and even in the third fight, you went life and death with him, man. Wilder ain't got no footwork. Wilder ain't got no jab. And he caught you in two out of 3 fights. So it's not like you're that slick. If you was that slick, you'd have seen Wilder's big basketball right hand coming for you, wouldn't you? The bar be all over you like a rush. I mean, Fury's out of gas after 7 rounds. We saw with Hrgovic. Hrgovic's got a better gas tank than Fury. And he hit Dubois harder than Fury could. When Fury runs out of gas after 6 rounds, Dubois is going to ride him like a donkey. That's what I believe would happen. He ain't going to want that. So again, they're all doing it. They're all just milking it now. They're milking it. And I really will respect Usyk if he beats Fury and then fights Dubois. I'll really respect that. That is what's missing. And yes, Usyk isn't. I think he's not got the profile or the lore because he's not a big puncher. But that's all he hasn't got. And he's not really supposed to. He's a cruiserweight. How many big punching cruiserweights do you know? Holyfield couldn't really punch like that. He wasn't a prolific puncher. Yeah? Don't even mention Mr. Painted Toenails. Big Toe Hay. Don't even mention him. Hay can't really punch like that. Who's Hay punched? What, Chisora? That's who he punched. Come on, people. Come on. Hay, I don't know what Hay was on. Hay ain't a big puncher, in my opinion. He's okay for a cruiserweight. He's an okay cruiserweight puncher. I think it was Tony Thompson. Tony Thompson stuck it right on him. He didn't want no more. So forget about David Hay. I saw what was in David Hay. Vlad, we saw what's in David Hay. Oh, my little toe went. The fuck? Your little toe went in a heavyweight unified title fight. And your little toe went. Get this guy out of here. I don't want to hear no more from David Hay. There's all these type of dudes. Like, who can... Apart from Usyk, really. Usyk and Dubois growing to be that. But Dubois had a shady past himself. Not so much the Joe Joyce fight, but the Usyk fight was bad. That was a bad look. Real bad look. But he's made amends. You even look at people like Caballero and Zhang ducking Bakoli. It's just really quite cringe, if I'm honest. It's all strategic and it's political, which is a shame. And in no other sport, really, is it like that. If you're playing golf, I don't know, you go to the PGA Tour and you play the best. If you're in tennis, you go to the Wimbledon and you play the best. In boxing, it's like, is there more on the line? Well, I might get knocked out on TV, but that's the game you've signed up for. That's the game you're getting paid millions of dollars at. Roy Jones said, I want to fight the best. I want the best to prove I'm the best. That's been lost in the game, unfortunately. AJ had it in a super weak era. AJ wanted to fight the best. That's not necessarily true, actually. He did want to fight Wilder, who was the best at the time. He did want to fight Fury, who was the best at the time. To be fair to AJ, he had it half there, but then he lost. And he lost his head. Ultimately, it broke him. It broke him. And this is more evidence that him being knocked back out by Danny D is also broke him bad. Broke him bad. He's fell off. We don't even know what he's thinking and what he's doing. He's just sitting there waiting now, cucking himself for Fury again. AJ, Fury ain't fighting till December next year at best. Fact. Documented. That's what you can believe. He ain't fighting till December next year. So he'll be sat around for another 13 months. But again, it's his cash-out fight. I think AJ will look to fight Fury twice, Dillian White again, and then maybe a Wilder. Those are the 4 fights left, and you can do 4 fights in 2 years, so that's the plan for him. He don't want no real challenges like that, I don't believe. If he did, he'd take Dubois on. Anyway, let me know your thought. I mean, how much bigger would it be if AJ fought Dubois in March or April or whatever, and he wins, and then Fury wins the belts? It's halfway back. To be quite frank, it's almost back to the height it's ever been, if I'm honest. If AJ pulled off the Dubois win, it's hard to argue that this fight isn't as big as it's ever been. It's for undisputed. Fury's just beat Usyk. AJ just took Dubois out, who's like the prince. 1 win in this game for both men. Fury needs to win, AJ wins. It's only 2 outcomes. We've seen crazier things. I've seen Joseph Parker beat Zhang and Wilder. Ridiculous. So we've seen crazier events. I believe Joseph Parker beating Zhang and Wilder was much more unlikely than Fury beating Usyk and AJ beating Dubois. So it happens. And if that did happen, the fight's bigger than ever, if I'm honest. The fight's bigger than ever. Because we can both say, wow, to beat Usyk, Fury had to be his best ever, in my opinion. And for AJ to beat Dubois, he has to be his best ever. I don't think AJ ever in his whole career could beat this Dubois. Unless he was his best. So we're back. It's 1 fight. 1 heavyweight fight. That's all you got to roll the dice, man. If you get knocked out again by Dubois, so be it. You dared to be great. And the Fury fight is still waiting for you. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about it. People, stop it.